Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare
Hare
Ram.
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining once again. Hope everyone is doing good and taking care of themselves very nicely. So,
Yes, Prabhuji.
thank you so much, Ji. So, let's start our discussion. Before that, we'll just read the Mangalacharan and start our session. Yeah, please, along with me, you can recite. Om Agyan Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasme Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uda Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitam Sham Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shanyavadi Pashyat Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sate Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangam angayate gram yat kripatam hamdandi Shri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madharam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat Hare Krishna. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and let's discuss our passage for today, which is not this body. So we'll read one by one. Yeah. So Khushbu Mataji, you want to start, or anyone can start?
I can start. This is Santosh.
Yes, probably.
So, passage for discussion. Not this body. Krishna consciousness is not a question of belief. It is a science. The first step is to know the difference between a living body and a dead body. What is the difference? The difference is that when someone dies, the spirit, soul, or the living force leaves the body, and therefore the body is called dead. So there are two things. One is this body, and the other, the living force within the body. One must first understand that he is a soul or something other than this body.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, someone else can read.
Read, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
For example, as a child grows, he becomes a boy. The boy becomes a young man. The young man becomes an adult. And the adult becomes an old man. Throughout all this time, although his body is changing from a child to an old man, he still feels himself to be the same person with the same identity. The body is changing, but the occupier of the body, that is the soul, is remaining the same. For example, as a child grows, he becomes a boy. The boy becomes a young man. The young man is repeated, I think. The young man becomes an adult and the adult becomes an old man. Prabhuji, it is same.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, we can go next.
No, this is different. Right? You can read, Prabhu, no problem.
Okay. For example, as a child grows, he becomes a boy. The boy becomes a young man. The young man becomes an adult, and the adult becomes an old man throughout all the time. Although his body is changing from a child to an old man, he still feels himself to be the same person with the same identity. The body is changing, but the occupier of the body, that is the soul, is remaining the same.
Yeah, because this example was important. That's why I think twice it already.
Yeah.
Okay, no
But
problem.
it is good actually. We memorize more actually when we read more.
Yes, Prabhuji. So, Harita Mataji would like to read, or Khushbu Mataji.
Prabhu, shall I read?
Prabhuji.
Okay, Mataji, you can read.
So when your body is finished, annihilated, you are not finished. You get another body. Just as you may change your coat and shirt, if you come to see me tomorrow wearing a different shirt and a different coat, does it mean that you are a different person? No. Similarly, each time you die, you change your body, but you, the spirit soul within the body, remain the same. The point has to be understood. Then one can further, then one can make further process in the science of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So, Deeparaj Prabhu, you can read. You can continue.
Yes, Prabhu. The spirit soul is invisible to our material eyes. It is atomic in size. After the destruction of the gross body, which is made up of the senses, blood, bone, fat, and so forth, the subtle body of mind, intelligence, and ego goes on working. So, at the time of death, this subtle body carries the small spirit soul to another gross body.
Thank you, Prabhu. Can someone continue?
Yes, Prabhuji, I will go.
Okay.
The process is just like air carrying fragrance. Nobody can see where this rose fragrance is coming from, but we know that it is being carried by air. You cannot see how, but it is being alone. Similarly, the process of transmigration of the soul is very subtle. According to the condition of the mind at the time of death, the minute spirit soul enters into the womb of a particular mother through the semen of a father, and then the soul develops a particular type of body given by the mother. It may be a human being, it may be a cat, a dog, or anything. You are eternal. According to your work, you are simply changing bodies. Therefore, you should want to know how to stop this business, how you can remain in your original spiritual body. This is Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So, very nice passage actually about body and soul. So, I hope everyone also went through this passage before coming to session. So, let's discuss and let's open up with few interesting points which touches your heart from this passage. So, who would like to share one interesting or one point which touches your heart? So, from this.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, maybe I'll just start off and maybe devotees can add to it.
Yes.
So basically, what happens is we usually, whenever we get up, even in morning, the first thing we want to take care is our body itself. That's how our consciousness has developed. The first we want to wash our hands and all that. Just we want to know that we are fully groomed nicely from the outer side and well nourished, with regards to food and all. So all our the daily activity starts with our body itself, but very less conscious that we are more than this particular body. We are actually spirit souls. I will just give that thought, and maybe if devotees would like to add it,
Yeah.
please.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So, anybody has any thoughts on what is the difference between living body and dead body? So, and if is there any difference? Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji.
I think the main difference between a living body and a dead body is like the presence of the living force or the soul, what is also part of the God. So if the person is having a good or a very nice appearance, and then very very nice hairs, very nice makeup, everything is done, but if there is no soul, or the entire body, the internal body or the internal thoughts of that person is not pure, then I think people are not able to even appreciate what good things it's having. So if the person's soul is good, if it is connected to the god, then I think there is a more better presence felt for that person in terms of connecting with devotees, connecting with lord. And then if everything is there but he is indulged into all the wrong practices, then in that case it does not help. So all his physical appearance is of no use, and then it's almost like a dead body for anyone who wants to actually think about it. Or maybe in terms of what we are considering and in this passage is, if the person is not aware about the difference between his soul and the body, and he's only taking care about his body and is engaged only in the bodily pleasures, then it's the wrong path. So we need to avoid that path and follow the path where we are able to connect, understand our souls, and then again go back to the supreme godhead.
Yeah, very nice, Prabhuji. Summarize whole passage. Very nice. So yeah, we can understand that there is some difference between living entity and this body, right? So yeah, yes, Mataji, you want to share something? Mataji.
Can I share something, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
क्लॉथ बना दो मम्मी हर चीज का.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So, I think first of all, what I understand from the passage is we are not the body, we are the soul. And then the difference between the living body and the dead body is that we have a consciousness in terms of soul, which is spread across the body. So it is your consciousness, and that's the point I want to highlight. So first understanding should be you are a soul.
So any example Prabhupada has mentioned in this passage? Can somebody add that point? That example?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, probably. I'll add one thing. The soul which is there inside is the driving force of anything. So I had somewhere heard like what is the difference between a dead body and a living body. When the body is living, then the soul acts, and whatever we do, like we walk, think, eat food, or we have the internal activities like digestion and many things. Soul is the driving force to do this and so many things. When the body is dead, people generally say that this person passed away. They don't say like I mean, this person is dead. Usually they will say that he passed away. Passed away means the soul left this body and he went to some other body, something like that. And I also had heard, Prabhuji, from some lecture that when the body is dead, what is the value of that? Most of the composition is water, like 70 or 80% of our body is water, and the calcium, phosphorus, and there are different elements which जो विलीन हो जाता है यानी मिट्टी में विलीन हो जाता है. So these are, if you consider that, if you consider in terms of price, the cost of that composition would hardly be 1,000 rupees. But when somebody is alive, he's not worth of 1,000 rupees. He's worth priceless. So this is the difference between a living body and a dead body.
Very nice example, Prabhuji, you brought it. So see, living entities price and dead bodies price. Very nice example, Prabhuji. Any more thoughts? And so what is the example Prabhupada is given here, which we can understand that we are keep changing our bodies. We are not the same. We are changing. Means we are the same as a soul, but we are keep changing our body. Through any analogy or any example, we can understand this.
With the
Yeah,
coat
so
and the shirt, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yes.
Harita Mataji, very nice, Mataji. So can you elaborate, or anyone can elaborate? Satyajit Prabhu, you want to say something?
Yeah, Prabhuji, in the passage, another example given, like the fragrance of flower or rose, we used to smell that, but we can't see actually from where it comes. So similar way, we can't see our soul actually, but it is passing through one body to another. That is the universal truth. Everyone should accept it, and that is what I think. What
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, that is about the transmigration. So that is also a very nice example. Like we can't see the fragrance, right, of the rose, but it carries by the air. So okay, we'll come to that question again, that how the transmigration is happening, right, of the soul. So before that, yeah, the soul basically is changing the body, right? For that, we have a shloka from the Bhagavad Gita also, which confirms this from uh, Sri Krishna himself. He is saying what? Vashamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grahanati naro prani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. Right? As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless one. So similarly, as we are changing our old clothes, right, with the new clothes. Similarly, as time passes, we become old, and this body is not of any use. So we change as our soul, we change our body and we get the new body, right? So this is a shloka from Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, 22nd shloka. And before that also, Lord has given this Dehino Ismin Yatha Dehe Kumaram Yoganam Jara Tatha Dehantar Praptir Dehas Tatranamayati. So this is also very basic understanding of the soul, that we as an embodied soul continuous passes in the body from boyhood to youth. This is the example given in the passage, right? So we are changing even in we need not to wait for the different body to understand this. Even in our body, this the same body which we are in, even this we are changing from, like we were a small boy, right, and then we become the youth, and with after youth will become the old, and like similarly we will be no longer be in this material world. So this is how our body is changing, and even this is confirmed by the science also. Science is saying every 7 years we are changing each and every cell of our body. So our body is completely different after 7 years. After 7 years, the cells gets changed. So this is scientific. So, but we as a person are the same, right? Everyone can recognize us, our parents, our friends, our relatives, right? So because we are the same person. Even in this body, we can understand that, yeah, we are, there is evolution, there is our change of our body, but we as a person, we are belonging to the spirit soul, right? We are we belonging to the spiritual world, and we are the spirit soul, right? So this is what I'd like to share. And then, so would like to ask how the soul transmigrates in the material bodies, right? So in the material bodies, any thoughts on that? Satyajit Prabhu has given the example, so yeah, can elaborate. Somebody can elaborate. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I think what is explained in the passage is as per your karmas, as per your work and activities, at the time of your death, you get new body. But yeah, on this earth, you cannot be sure that what you are going to become. Like Prabhupada mentions here, it may be a human being, maybe a cat, maybe a dog, or anything. So, but yeah, he also explained it technically how soul enters into the womb of a particular mother, But yeah, the only thing is that it's because of your work and activities. Based on that, you'll get a next body.
Yes, Prabhuji. So yeah, so that different bodies we are getting by our karmas. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, Harita Mataji would like to add.
Prabhuji, normally the universal rule is what we say is good, good, bad, bad. So if you do good in the present life, so the soul also like it carries good to the next Janma, next life. So we'll be very aware that we have to do good because even our soul carries to the next.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
So that way.
Yeah. So very nice, Mataji. This is very means like if we'll do the good things, so yeah, we have to we will get the good things only in our life. And if we'll do bad things, we'll good. So whatever we will sow, that only will be grow, right? So this is the thing. This is the law of karma, right? So any other points? So how basically next question comes. So even if we are doing the punya or the good things, we are getting the different body, but that will be also be like material body. Like maybe if we are right now human being, we can get the demigod's body. We can get the higher planetary system, maybe Indra, Chandra. We can get that body, that planet. We can go, and we can have more facilities for enjoyment. So, but that is also right coming in the this material world only. So, how we can get out of this material world itself, right? How we can change our material body to spiritual body. So, any thoughts on that?
Hare Krishna,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. By chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Yes, Prabhuji. So, can you elaborate, Prabhu, what will happen when we'll chant this mantra? That's the crux of whole Krishna consciousness that Prabhuji has just told, that the Hare Krishna Mahamantra has that much potency. This is called Mahamantra, right? Next passage will be on this Mahamantra, so that will be also very nice. So, but yeah, Prabhuji has brought it this. So this is the way to connect us ourselves to the Supreme Lord, right? And Supreme Abode, right? So let's hear from Avinash Prabhu about the whole philosophy, whole summary of the passage, where he will also touch upon this point that how this Hare Krishna Mahamantra and how we can liberate ourselves from this body, this material body, basically. Right? So I'll just share, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, bro.
Sure. Yeah. The first thing what we learned today is self-realization. So when we think ourselves, we are mainly, our gross body is consist of mainly earth, water, air, ether, and fire. The subtle body is mind, intelligence, and false ego. And but we are actually soul, something which empowers the body to carry out the different activities. This is the main difference between the living and the dead. So so when, for example, when the body grows from child to boy, young man, and adult, and then old, still we think that the person who is inside the body is himself, and with the same identity irrespective of the bodily changes. This is because the occupier of the body, which is the soul, it remains the same. So one of the, and this was explained today by I think Deepak Prabhuji showed the sloka number 2.13, where it explains the how the body changes from one state to another, but still we feel the person feel that we are having the same identity. That identity is the soul. It's not our we when so this is the first step of self realization, where we should think that we are not the body, and but we are the soul, which is eternal. Yeah, next slide, Prabhuji. So this is called, this is here, the soul transmigration is explained. After the body is dead, the soul is not finished. The soul is still the same, which gets another gross body. If you see the different circles here, the outer one, which is the gross body, which consists of the earth, water, fire, air, and ether, which is in blue color. Then the inner circles are the subtle body, which is consist of the mind, intelligence, and ego. And at the center we have the soul. So based on our consciousness, or the way we perform our karmas, the consciousness gets developed, and that gets preserved throughout the lifetime. And when the body is weak, the soul goes to another gross body with the same consciousness, which is consist of the mind, intelligence, and ego. And the soul transmigrates with the same consciousness to another body, which is another gross body, which is shown in the outer circle as in green color. So this is how the soul transmigration happens. This is also explained in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, sloka number 22, which was yeah.
Yeah, we discussed that. I just showed as a reference, right? Vasamsi Jirnani Yathavya. So that one, the
Yes.
shloka. And here, like, we can understand that if we are changing the gross body, it means in the transmigration of soul, here we are talking about the material bodies only. As we are changing the material bodies, one material body to another, that can be either of lower birth, cat's dog, or any higher birth, Indra Chandra, right, or any demigod's body. So that that will carry our ego, mind, and intelligence, right? So these are the things which transmigrate. Like Satyajit Prabhu has mentioned about the that example of air, right? So air carries the fragrance. So air means the subtle thing, right? We can't see. So similarly, the mind, intelligence, and ego, these are the subtle elements of our body, subtle elements. So these carries the soul to the next body, right? So
Yes,
how
yes.
we can get out of this is here. Yes.
Yeah, so this is called Krishna consciousness. So Krishna consciousness is the realization of the soul, which is eternal. So it law of karma entangles and binds us to get another material body. So we had discussed the principle of BCD last week, where we discussed about the birth and death, and in between there are so many choices we make. So based on the choice, our subtle body or the consciousness gets built up, and gets and in that way we carry out this to the end, towards the end of our life. So how to stop this business of changing this material body and scientifically remain eternal and remain in the original spiritual body? This is called Krishna consciousness. This is all scientific, and in Bhagavad Gita 4.9 it states that one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, takes his birth again in the material body, but attains my eternal Arjuna. We need to understand our eternal relationship with God, with Lord, by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this is called Krishna consciousness. So the more we chant, the more we get attracted to Krishna, who is eternal. So in that way, we develop our consciousness, so that at the end of our life, we have the consciousness of remembering the Supreme Lord. In that way, we can break this cycle of getting another material body and attain the Supreme. So yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah. So everyone knows that, right? Whatever the consciousness we carry at the time of death, we get that kind of body, right? Our desires and our consciousness at the time of death. That is very much important. So that's why for reaching to that state, that at the time of death we can remember Krishna, we have to practice it in this life only. And the practicing of Krishna consciousness, or that consciousness that we can remember the Krishna at the time of death can be done very easily by chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, right? So with that we can easily cross over this material body, and we can reach to the eternal supreme destination, right? So how do you feel after knowing this, that we are the soul, we are not this body, we are the eternal? Is it giving any relief, or it starts more confusing us? Any thoughts on that? What is your practical realization or your impression that it's very nice to hear that we are eternal?
I think it is very important and very nice to understand this reality, because otherwise each one of us, we are just running behind the material happiness, and then we're trying to think that we are somebody, we are having some self ego, and we try to assume that we have established or we have achieved so many things by our own hard work and sufferings what we have received. But when we understand that we are a soul, and we understand the reason why we are sent here, and whatever we are achieving is the sole mercy of the Supreme Godhead, then it makes us very much relaxed. And then in terms of stress, it is reducing a lot, because we ultimately know that we are not going to achieve anything, or we are not going to lose anything. Only thing what we are here in this world is to do some duties for the Supreme Godhead, and make this world a better place for living.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. This is very, very essential. But just Prabhuji has mentioned that we should not be body conscious. Yeah, definitely we have to keep our body fit, healthy, so that. But what's the purpose? What should be the purpose? So that we can practice Krishna consciousness very nicely, right? That should be the purpose, even to keep up our body nice, right, or healthy, right? So that we can be always practicing Krishna consciousness, always be in thoughts of the Supreme Being very nicely, very in a healthy way, and also we can spread this, right, to everyone. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for very nice interactive participation in this spaces. So let's move to our next section. Before that, any question or any comment, if anyone has, we can quickly take. Otherwise, we can move to the Bhagavad Gita discussion.
Yes, Prabhuji, one single point, my realization I want to share. Before coming to Krishna consciousness, I was like having this fear that what will happen to me, and what is the future, who am I? But after Krishna consciousness, I mean, I'm feeling like there is no fear. I'm in safe hands. I'm with the devotees, and I got Hare Krishna mantra. So it doesn't matter how many lives it will take. I'm with the devotees, so I'll definitely achieve something good, and I'll serve Krishna. So these kind of fearlessness is there. So initially, I mean, before that it was fear. Now fear is not there, at least. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, fearlessness. Very nice, Prabhuji. This is the sign of progressing in Krishna consciousness, right? We are taking shelter of Krishna, then there is no worry, right? Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So let's move to the yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I'll just add. I was just about to tell this. It also gives immense strength when you think on the platform of body. It naturally goes old, diseased, or many changes happen. If you think about the body, then you will get feared. But if you think about the soul, you know that it is going to last and it is eternal. Then it gives immense strength also.
Yeah. So strength and fearlessness. See, two qualities we can get easily in Krishna consciousness, and there are so many. So these are the two we just discussed. Thank you so much, everyone. So let's move to the Bhagavad Gita shloka. So Amresh Prabhu, you would like to start? 19th.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes. In this verse, basically Sanjay conveyed to Dhritarashtra that the tremendous sound of the various counsels from the side of Pandava army was breaking the heart of his sons. Actually, the sons of Dhritarashtra were fearful. And Sanjay did not mention any such reactions from the Pandavas when the Bhishma and others on the side of Duryodhana blew their respective counsels. The Pandavas were confident and felt protected as the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna was by their side. And one who takes shelter of the Supreme Lord has nothing to fear, even in the midst of the greatest calamity. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So let's move to the 20th shloka. Sandeep Prabhu, you would like to give what points you like from that? Sandeep Prabhu, you're there?
Hare Krishna to all Prabhujis and Mataji. Here in this verse 1.20, Arjuna, who had a flag of Hanuman, Lord Hanuman was symbol of Arjuna's flag, and the name of his flag was Kapidhwaja. Arjuna is seeing Duryodhana and all opposite army and making his bow ready for.
Hare Krishna. Did we lost him? Okay. Yes. Yes, Prabhuji. So thank you so much, Prabhu, for sharing the 20th shloka. Let's move to 21st shloka or 22. Both are together. Renumataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna to everyone. Thank you so much for this great opportunity. Yeah, so here in this verse, first time we could see that Lord Krishna is being addressed by his great devotee Arjuna. And Arjuna calls Lord Krishna as Achyuta. Achyuta means one who never fails to, fulfill the devotee's wishes. So here we could see that in middle of the battlefield, Arjuna is asking Lord Krishna to take him to the middle of the battlefield, and he wants to see his relatives, his family, his teachers who are present there. He wants to see them very closely. So he's desperate at this moment, and before the war begins, he's kind of emotional, and he wants to see them very closely. So it's like he's ordering Lord Krishna that because Lord Krishna is his Sarathi, charioteer, so he's telling that take me in middle and I want to see them closely. So according to Srimad Bhagavatam, if we see Lord himself, everything is under Lord's control, like everything happens with the fear, like even the life, death, even the rainfall, and the wind is blowing, everything happens according to God's orders. But here for the first time we could see a devotee who is ordering the Lord because he is pure. This when I was going through this, like I felt even we all are in the association, and it gives me immense pleasure, like when I was reading this, and it is kind of very emotional thing to see that, like when we are when we give ourselves to God, when we are purely devoted, even God give himself to us. So this is what is my understanding if I sum up. Thank you so much. Hari Krishna.
Very nice, Mataji. Very nice. Thank you so much. So Sakshi Mataji, 23rd shloka.
Hare Krishna. So in this verse, Arjuna is telling Krishna, take me in between of two armies, like he's requesting. And he's saying, I want to see all those people who have assembled here. He wanted to see, like he's telling Lord Krishna, I want to see how the people's desire. And he uses Dhritarashtra, that is the son of Dhritarashtra, he's telling. So here Arjuna wanted to go in between of both the armies. He wanted to see how much those people, like they are bent towards fighting. Arjuna even wanted to make estimate of their strength. It was not any doubt of losing. He was very sure that he would win, but he just, and in like we will be seeing that what was the original reason in like in after verses we will be seeing like why he wanted to go front and that will be explained. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. As Puneet Prabhuji, 24th shloka.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So here in this verse, this is for actually Sanjay Uvacha. So Sanjay is saying, addressing Arjuna as Gudakesha and Krishna as Rishikesh. So he's addressing because Arjuna as a Gudakesha, because as a devotee of the Lord, Arjuna has conquered sleep, which is actually called ignorance also. And as a great devotee, we should not forget Krishna even for a moment, because that should be the true nature of devotee. So here Sanjay is addressing Krishna as Rishikesha and Arjuna as Gudakesha. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So let's move to the 25th shloka. Satyajit Prabhu. Yes,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So here in this sloka, it says that the presence of Bhishma, Dronacharya, and all other kings, Sri Krishna said, "O Partha, behold these Kurus gathered here." I mean, who all are the enemy, both side, or let's say Kuru side, are gathered here. You can behold them. So why he said or address that, "O Partha," because Partha is basically name of Arjun because of the son of Pritha, and another name of the mother Kunti. Then he pointed at all the warriors like Bhishma, Drona, and other king and Kaurava side deliberately use the word like Kuru to address them, to intimate them, to hint, basically giving a hints. So it's basically remind Arjuna that both Kaurava and Pandavas were all descendant, basically all descendant of the great king Kuru. So that is what he trying to mention, and therefore the enemy he was so eager to kill was actually his own family and relatives, kind of all who are there present. And another thing also, Krishna here little sarcastically, or I would say he mentioned or present like he is the omniscient. I mean, knowing all this, because he knows that what is the uh, Arjuna's mind going on now. Because in further, I think somewhere it must be there, like when Arjuna, I mean, seeing all his family and relative are there in the battlefield, he was not interested to, war, start the war, or not interested to that. Because of knowing that, since Arjuna once asked to Krishna in, I think, previous sloka, that take me into the middle where I can see who are there, the both side people are there interested to war. So that is where he sarcastically says, see, this is where all people, I mean, all Kurus are there. So you start Partha and behold uh, all these enemy and all. So that is what the point here mentioned.
Thank you so much,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Santosh Prabhuji, the last shloka, 26th.
Yeah, sure.
Today.
So I think in this sloka 26, here Arjun could see, that on both the sides we have the peoples who are stationed, like his fathers, grandfathers. There are teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, cousins, sons, nephews, and grandnephews, friends, father-in-law, and some of the well-wishers. And what is happening is in all the Sri Krishna's words, there is a desired effect on Arjun. So whatever Krishna is telling to Arjun, there is some effect which he want to create on him. And looking at the armies on both the sides of the battlefield, his heart is getting sank, because they are all Kurus, that is his relatives, and they are all brave warriors who wanted to actually punish the Kauravas for all their wickedness a few minutes back, and suddenly they became fearful, and now they are uh, ready to fight with them, and then they are comprehending the devastation. So this war would cause lot many challenges for them, and whatever this valor has started to diminish, I think that's what is trying to caution Arjuna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So I request Kuntal Prabhuji to just summarize all the
Thank you, Prabhuji.
yeah, 26 shlokas.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, can I share my screen? Will that be okay? It will be easy.
Yes, bro. I have shared actually.
Okay.
You can see, bro.
Yeah, it is much minier, but okay, this is fine. So nice realization shared by devotees already. We'll try to summarize it precisely. So the verse for 19th was regarding the conch shells which were blown by Pandavas and which caused the heart of Duryodhana to shatter. So basically it did not happen with Pandavas. The key lesson here is one who takes the shelter like Pandavas, a shelter of the Supreme Lord, has nothing to fear. Even Punit Prabhuji, he is experiencing a similar kind of mood when he is able to understand that we are the soul and we are not this particular body, and basically taking the shelter of the holy name, shelter of Lord. It is very clear that we don't need to fear about anything, and even in the midst of the greatest calamity. So in Bhagavad Gita, even in 8.15, it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, Dukhalam Ashashvatam. It means this material world is full of misery and temporary nature. So we already has a fear which is inbuilt because of the material nature around us. Our positions are going to taken away, our health, wealth, wisdom, memory, it can go away at any time. Even our loved ones will be gone from our side anytime. We can't guarantee it. So we have to take shelter of the permanent things rather than temporary things and temporary people. So the analogy was shared by in the passage. It was related to train, how train comes in and people come and depart at different stations. So that is a good thing to remember for ourselves. Even in Bhagavad Gita chapter 15 and verse 15, it is said that Krishna is present in our heart as a super soul, as a Paramatma. So let's take the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is there in our heart as a super soul, and he is permanent, basically there with us. So even in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 17.132 verse, it is said that Krishna, his self, that is are non-different. His holy names are non-different than himself. It means that whoever is taking the names of Lord is in direct contact, in direct relationship with God. He can experience it. It's not like material world where we have a gulab jamun. We can say the gulab jamun, but after saying gulab jamun, we are not going to taste the sweetness of it unless we prepare it separately and then consume it. But with Krishna, is not the same. The moment you utter the word with sincerity, with conviction, you will be able to taste the sweetness of that name and the full potency of that name. Second lesson, we can associate with Krishna, seek shelter from Krishna directly through chanting of his holy name, and we become fearless. Like for instance, Prahlad Maharaj is one of the example where he was submissively chanting the holy name and was fearless of his demon father Hiranyakashipu. In one of the next verse is basically Arjuna is seated in the chariot, bearing the flag of Hanuman, which is also called as Kapi, and he is ready to shoot the arrows, and he's just taking a glance at the Kauravas. So the presence of Hanuman itself on the battlefield, it's kind of a giving blessings to Arjuna that, okay, you will be victorious. So these are the signs of the victorious which was mentioned in the shloka. That was basically Lord himself, that is Krishna or Rama, and goddess of fortune. Since the Krishna is there, there will be always a goddess of fortune, or if Rama is there, there will be Sita there, and his Lord's servitor, who is Hanuman. Just their presence ensure that, okay, the righteous Pandavas will get, or the Arjuna will be victorious in the battlefield. So lessons for us is we remain fearless and victorious at the end of our if we have the association of Lord and his devotee, just like Arjuna had. And another lesson is that we need to understand what Krishna will is and what is expected from us. Krishna expects us to apply the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita in our own lives. So it is also mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita 4.11. Prabhuji, next slide, please. In verse 21-22, Arjuna basically is instructing Lord Krishna himself, who is called as Rishikesha here, the Lord of all senses, to draw the chariot in the midst of two armies, just so that he can have a view of the people who are there and having a desire to fight. So the lesson here, basically, you can imagine Lord Rishikesha, Lord himself, he owns everything. He is the supreme person of the Godhead, but he is taking instruction from whom? Arjuna, his devotee. So from Krishna's viewpoint, he actually never fails. He is also called as Achyuta. He never fails in his affection for his devotee. He was ready to become a chariot for Arjuna because even he was his friend and her cousin as well, like aunt, son. So there was a relationship between Lord and his servitor Arjuna. So also there is a relationship between Lord and us individually, which is very sweet and transcendental. Our position is to always serve Lord, but Lords in turn will have loving exchanges with the devotees, and that is clearly seen within this verse. The next verse is 23, where Arjuna wanted to see those who have come for the fight and are supporting the evil-minded Duryodhana. So in this particular context, even it was mentioned the reference dialogues between Arjuna and Duryodhana when Krishna went as a peace messenger from the Pandava side to the Duryodhana, asking not to fight, but give Pandavas a small portion of like 5 villages and let them rule independently. But that particular proposal was completely denied by Duryodhana because he was evil-minded. Now, Lord is nothing but Jagannath. He is also called as Jagannath, who is the Lord of universe. For everything belongs to him. Still, we have our own ignorance and arrogance that, okay, something which is belonging to me, just because the paper says I have bought something, a land or a piece of home, it belongs to me. No, everything belongs to Lord, but we are just temporary proprietors of it. He is the permanent proprietor. So the two lessons here. One is Arjuna was confident of the victory as Krishna was on his side. He just wanted to estimate the strength of the position where he is supposed to fight with Kauravas and the allies. And another lesson is, like mentioned, one must not be ignorant and arrogant of one's positions like Duryodhana, because we are not the supreme proprietor. Krishna is the supreme proprietor, but we are just the temporary holders of something which is given to us as his mercy. In next verse 24, basically following the orders of Arjuna, who is also called as a Gudakesha, one who has conquered sleep/ignorance, Lord drives the chariot in the midst of the army as instructed by Arjuna. So the lesson here is the nature of devotee is that Krishna, the nature of devotee is that the devotee never forgets Krishna for any moment. So even while doing any menial activities, our consciousness should be chanting of the holy names and the presence of Lord's within our heart. That's where Lord's name, quality, forms, and pastime we can meditate on. So the devotee can conquer anything like sleep, ignorance, simply by thinking of Krishna constantly. And that is what we are trying to preach and practice in Krishna consciousness. So even if we are a student, or even if we are something who is a working class man, woman, or anybody for that matter, we can conquer our laziness, remember Krishna constantly, be energetic simply by absorbing our senses in chanting of the holy name. In next verse, which is 25, on the side of Kauravas, there were presence of all great warriors, and Lord then says that, okay, see who have come as you have requested, they are here. So in this particular lesson, the lesson for us is Arjuna had not mentioned about this indecisiveness of fighting, which might come in later, which is yet to be revealed to him by speech by Arjuna. But however, Krishna, he already knows what is in the heart of Arjuna and where he is going. So similarly, Krishna, being Rishikesha, also knows what is there in our hearts, whether we are inclined towards bhakti or whether we are inclined towards material enjoyment. So our point is just to engage ourselves more into bhakti and take the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita and implement them. Prabhuji, next one, please. So in next.
Who is there? Is Deepak Prabhu or who is there?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, this is Santosh.
Okay, Santosh Prabhu. Okay, anybody else? I would really like to hear from, right, all the devotees, like, but we have just only one because the paucity of the time.
Prabhuji, may I? Prabhuji, this is Aishwarya here.
Yes, Mataji, yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, it was like we were writing some examination and the examiner was like, invigilator was like, "Bas hua, abhi ho gaya tum loga." He was so much engrossed into discussion and you were repeatedly, no, it's time to come to the
Sorry
main.
for playing that, master role because we have to respect the time of
So
everybody.
this reminds us about time management. Thank you for that too.
No, it's for all of us. I think we have to be respectful for the time of everybody. And I think all of you, heard from Parikshit Maharaj during our Kathamritam sessions. Yes, Parikshit Maharaj was there. He was not really worried about the time aspect, right? He was just like, he was not feeling thirsty. He was not feeling hunger. He was completely absorbed in Krishna Gatha. And I see that you are all followers of Parikshit Maharaj, completely oblivious to time. You are all completely absorbed in Krishna Katha, how to progress in Krishna consciousness. We are so inspired by all of you. Thank you. Sorry. Yes, we will continue. We can continue that offline. Yes, I would like to hear from one devotee, and it would be nice if different devotees also comes from different groups.
Krishna Prabhu, this is from Radha Gopinath. This is Deepak from Radha Gopinath.
Yes, Deepak Prabhu, yeah, please.
Yeah, Prabhu, today we discussed about the gross body and subtle body, where gross body is made up of all the 5 elements and subtle body is made up of mind, intelligence and ego, and we have differentiated it from that and this, and we understood what is living body and what is dead body and what is the transmigration of the soul and all. And also we discussed about each other group members feelings and their thought process and their understandings, and also we discussed about from Bhakti, that Bhagavad Gita from session 19 to 25. Our group members were discussed, and in this we discussed how the Arjuna was feeling when he was coming to the battlefield, and what is the directions he was felt, and how the Lord has advised him to overcome the challenges and the threats by the Kauravas and all, and how to be, and also Kuntal Prabhu has well summarized as about has well summarized as about what is the importance of being yes, and also what we realized is Kuntal Prabhu has explained well, and in that what is how we felt, what is the importance in being in Krishna consciousness, and it helps us to because in being Krishna consciousness we will be less fearful and we have fearlessness, and also with the association of devotees we will improve our we will improve our mindset, and we will overcome the anxiety, fear, depressions, and these things, and to have the same thing which Lord has advised to Arjuna in all these sessions, and this is what Prabhu we have realized, and also he advised to have prasadam offered to Lord, and this is all regular. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. You covered a lot. Yes. Anybody else?
Abha Mittal Mataji, can you share your thoughts?
Okay, from Radha Raman, Ava Mittal Mataji, from Radha Sam Sundar, Radha Govind, please come forward. Okay, can we quick?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna from Radha Sam Sundar.
बोलिए।
जी प्रभु जी, आज हमने मतलब डिस्कस किया कि किस प्रकार से जो हमारी आत्मा होती है एक शरीर से दूसरे शरीर में इस पूरी 84 लाख योनियों में जाती है। जब हम मृत्यु के समय जो हमारी मना स्थिति होती है उसी के अनुसार और जो हमारे कर्म होते हैं उसके अनुसार हमें दूसरा शरीर मिलता है, और इस प्रकार से हम एक शरीर से दूसरे शरीर में जाते रहते हैं, लेकिन आत्मा हमारी वही बनी रहती है। और अंत में जो हमारा अल्टीमेट गोल होता है कि किस प्रकार से हम इस जन्म और मरण के चक्र से मुक्ति पाएं, तो उसका एक ही माध्यम है कि हम उस परमपिता परमेश्वर परमात्मा की असीम अनुकंपा की छाया में क्या कर सकते हैं, इससे मुक्ति पा सकते हैं सुप्रीम गॉड से कनेक्ट होकर के, कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस को फॉलो करके। तो आज का ही कुछ की पॉइंट है प्रभु जी। थैंक यू।
वेरी नाइस, है ना। तो माता जी काफी सुंदर से पहले बोले, बाय ईटिंग नो वी कैन गो बैक टू गॉड हेड, बाय ईटिंग कृष्ण प्रसादम, बाय यूजिंग आवर टंग फॉर ईटिंग कृष्ण प्रसादम एंड बाय चैंटिंग द होली नेम ऑफ द लॉर्ड, है ना। विद दैट हमारा बॉडी माइंड एंड सोल, है ना, मतलब जो शरीर है तन मन सब कुछ कैसे निर्मल होता है। हरे कृष्णा। थैंक यू यशवंत प्रभु। एनीबडी एल्स फ्रॉम राधा रमन और राधा गोविंद?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Srinivasa sir.
Yes, please.
Yeah, actually, in out of all these 3 weeks, I think today I felt I am little bit interactive, sir. I try to explain 1.26 Gita. I given the meaning of that, and I in fact shared my happiness after I associated. Since
Hare.
everybody thinks it's maybe repetition, but I want to tell you, sir, I don't know you're there or not. You are
Yes,
like
please.
my guru and well-wisher. Actually, I shared with them that everybody thinks religious life is after retirement, something like that, but it is not like that. So religious life should start, and once we
Yes.
chant Hare Krishna and once we are reading Gita, it's giving a lot of energy in our personal life as well as professional life. So I
Exactly.
just shared my
Very
what
good.
I am before 3 weeks, what I am now, right now. I am
Hare
little
Krishna.
somewhere confident and very happy. Thank you for all this.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for sharing your realization. Yes, you know, like this process that Lord has given is universal and eternal principle, and anybody can use it. You know, just like medicine has its property, a fire has its own property. Similarly, the Lord's transcendental sound vibration has its own property. You know, Yasyam Vaisruyamanayam Krishna Parama Puruse. You know, Bhakti Utpadate Pumsam Soka Moha Bhayapaha. Once we hear this transcendental sound vibration of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, all the scriptures, or now you have been hearing and sharing this Bhagavad Gita, they are really transcendent, they are divine, they are Divya, they are not of this world. And when it really goes to our heart through the years, it really transforms. Then we slowly realize ourselves, what is our duty. And I was speaking to one devotee during this week, and she was saying that how, you know, like always he is thinking of Krishna, right? How, you know, we are thinking that, you know, how we are meant to, you know, please Lord Krishna. Yes, like it's not that we are neglecting our duties, but we are doing our duty more responsibly, you know, and much more, you know, effectively. Because I think our Bijay Prabhu and all, they were always saying that, right? Like, you know, once you become attached to the result, you know, then we are really not conscious about what we need to do. And I children, okay, and I just want to focus on the result and forgetting the, you know, process. You know? But here, once you understand the soul, then how I should feed the soul, not really worry, right? Yes, I have to take care of the body, I have to do the needful, but at the same time, how can I really feed the soul? So then the soul is happy, the soul is happy, I am happy, my family is happy, community is happy. And it's a very practical process, because people are so unhappy, so vacant within, you know, that's why so much of distress within ourselves and within the family. And if we realize that, right, like, you know, everybody is a part and parcel of the Lord, and we will have so much of respect for our family members. We'll have so much of respect for the community, right? We'll not hate the sinner, but we love the sinner. Yes, we'll hate the sin, right? Yes, we should not do that, not good things. But then we love the sinner because we know that, you know, somehow or other, because of their conditioning, because of their, you know, whatever they have gone through, their upbringing, maybe they are in a certain condition, but they are pure, the soul is pure. But somehow or other, like this pure water, it fall into the mud, it has become muddy, but it's just a matter of time. The power of sun is such that it will evaporate that water once again, and it will give the pure water, right?
Correct.
So yes, somehow or other we are contaminated, but once again we are coming into the association of Krishna and Krishna's devotees, or through the sound holy name. Yes, we'll also get purified. We'll also realize ourselves as the soul. Thank you very much. Okay, just before we wrap up, anybody from Radha Govind, or we can close for today? Then we'll just do a Narsimha Pranam. Anybody is there from Radha Govind? I see Piyush Prabhu has mentioned here. Thank you. It was very awesome and fabulous. Thank you. As our Srinivas Prabhu said, it would be nice if devotees can relate. Right, like in today also in the application section it was there, right? Like how practically it is making a difference, right? Like just a quick example, right? One time, like one of this program kind of was happening in USA, and one of like not so fair, ladies, very healthy ladies, somehow they came and they heard about this body and soul concept, and they were having a lot of guilty and not so good feeling, because they were identifying themselves with their body with a big and not so fair color and things like that. Once they heard that, oh, we are not the body but we are the soul, and they were so happy, they were trying to embrace one sannyasi. Because they were thinking, oh, like now we have removed our luggage that we are carrying for, so like we are the pure, we are the pure soul, let's forget, right? Like whatever deformities or whatever we might have in our bodies, right? We feel so blissful. We are part and parcel of the Lord. Once you are connected, just like a child once is connected with a mother or a father, right? He feels so happy. Similarly, once we chant the holy name, we also feel so blissful. Thank you.
It's
Yes,
more,
let's take that.
Prabhuji, it's more important in this Kali Yuga. I think I can
Yes.
recollect in the first week or second week, somebody, I think you
Yes.
only told Kali Yuga, it is more important, sir.
Yes. Thank you very much. Now let's take shelter of Lord Narasimha. He's called Bhakta Vatsala. He's a Bhakti Bigna Vinasaka. So whatever the obstacles that might come on way of Bhakti, he removes them. So let's pray to Lord Narasimha Dev. So now we have today one of the participants, Khushbu Mataji. I think is singing today. Hare Krishna Mataji. Please get started.
Yeah. Can you speak?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Please.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, everyone, for giving this opportunity to me. Today, I am going to sing Narsimha Pranayam. So I will start now. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Praladadadayane. Praladadadayane. Hiranyakashiporvachana. Hiranyakashiporvachana. Pilatankaranaye. Ito yato Narasimha Kavi kavi kamala Dalita Hiranyakashipu tanu brinda Keshavidrita Narari Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Kavichare kamale vade natha adbhut shringar dalita hiranyakashipu tanu brinda keshavidrita narihari rupa jaya jagadish hare jaya jagadish hare Keshavidrita Narihari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Narsinga Dev Jai Narsinga Dev नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद थैंक यू सो मच प्रभु जी हरे कृष्णा
Hey Krishna, thank you very much, Kusuma Mataji, for singing so nice. Your daughter, no, your baby's name is
Stanvi Prabhu ji.
Anvi. Okay, like she was telling us right how we should pray, for mother. Similarly, we should pray.
She is here with me.
Hare Krishna, right? Both mother and child, mother and daughter, they were teaching us, how should we pray to the Supreme Lord. Just like the child was praying for the mother was praying to Lord Narasimha. Similarly, we should pray to the Lord. Oh Lord, please take us, please give us your mercy. It should be, our Srila Prabhupada saying, we should cry for Krishna's mercy. We should pray for Krishna's mercy. We should beg for Krishna's mercy. Like in the case, she cried and she got into mother's lap. Right? It's obvious. But if she starts crying, mommy, then mommy will not take. Similarly, once we cry sincerely, similarly our Hare Krishna Mahamantra, or once we chant this Narasimha Prana, we should cry from the heart, and we should really cry out loudly. And then Mummy will definitely, our Supreme Father will definitely come, and our Supreme Mother Radha Rani definitely will come to take care of us. Thank you very much, Mataji, for sharing.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
And thank you to Sanvi as well. She taught us today how to pray to the Supreme Lord.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.